The government of South Sudan is massacring the children of South Sudan, recruiting them, giving them uniform in SSPDF, in the name of SSPDF, and they take them to fight with the White Army. Nobody can fight White Army. Not even the government of South Sudan combined with the UPDF. Combine, even if you can even combine it with SPLA-IO, you cannot fight the White Army. Nobody fight the White Army. White Army is the mother and the father of South Sudan. To those who don't know, White Army are 97 years plus, when just SPLM is just 43 years old. When you combine IO and SPLM together, how old are they? It will be 43 plus 13 years. What does that mean? It will be 56 years old. You are not even coming near White Army. The government of South Sudan is finishing the children of South Sudan. To you, those who don't know, what have happened in Akobo this morning is beyond what have happened in Wiyaradiw, is beyond what have happened in Pajut. If you don't know, what have happened in Akobo is beyond what have happened in Pajut and beyond what have happened in Wiyaradiw. The people, the South Sudanese that are finished in Akobo, are not something we can talk about. Those are Jinubin. To those who don't know, those are South Sudanese. And I talked to people some days back or some few weeks ago. I told people, please, Anuak, don't go to Akobo. Let the government not lie to you that you should take back your land. I told also people, please don't go to Akobo. I told them that is a genocide that the government is planning. I told you that is a massacre. The government of South Sudan want to massacre again the children of South Sudan. Nobody listened to me. Nobody listened to me. And even the people, like today, the women that will be crying in South Sudan, because it's only the women that have the pain. Those that have been killed, either their children or their husbands. It's only the women of South Sudan that feel the pain of South Sudan. The SSPDF are finishing. Their mothers and their husbands will cry. And their children will remain orphans. And their wives will remain widows. And their mothers will remain childless. On the side of SPLA-IO and the side of White Army, what happened? They are women. It's also women that feel the pain. There are women that will remain childless. There are women that will remain husbandless. They will become widows. And there are children that will become orphans. On both sides, South Sudanese are finishing. IO are finishing. White Army is finishing. And SSPDF is finishing. All of them, who are they? They are South Sudanese. To those who don't know, let me open it to you. Up to now, have you ever heard any statement that have come out from the both sides? No statement. The SPLA-IO have not come out to give any statement, official statement, and also the Lulraikong have not come out to give any statement on behalf of the government of South Sudan. What does that tell you? You remember what happened in Pajut? It took long time. Up to today, the government never came out and tell us how many people died in Pajut. They did not come out and tell us how many people died in Pathai. We lost more than 10,000 South Sudanese in these two wars. And nobody talks about it. Nobody came and talked about it, Jinubin. But women are crying. Women are suffering. Yes. Why are they not coming out and doing this? The people that don't have brain are celebrating. Those who don't have brain are celebrating. No. The government is finishing South Sudanese. Whether Dinka, whether Nuer, whether Equatoria, whether White Army, whether IO, whether SSPDF, you are all Jinubin. There is something that is uniting all of you, the flag of South Sudan. The flag of South Sudan is the one that is uniting all of you. When you call yourself IO, you are IO where? What are you fighting for? You are fighting for freedom of we South Sudanese, that you are finishing their children. When you are SSPDF, it's the same South Sudan flag that you are carrying. We need to open our minds and our eyes and listen, Jinobin. Especially to the women of South Sudan. When your children are being finished, please. This is not something we should be celebrating. Salva Kiir Mayardit government is finishing South Sudanese. He's finishing South Sudanese. Today, people who will bury those people. Huh? At least the list we know. Even today, they did not give us the list of the people that died in Patai. We don't know how many people died there. We don't know how many people died in Pajut. We don't know how many people died in even Wiyara. They live about the lives that they gave us. Nobody even knows how many people died in Wiyara. We don't know how many people actually died in Abiemno. You cannot tell me you have counted all of them. You cannot tell me how many people died in Kolkaltan. All these wars, there's no specific people that can come you and give you the details of how many people died. I'm here to remind you, to those who always want to go and fight White Army, you can fight SPLA-IO if you want. But nobody can fight White Army, Hajama. Why are you going to fight with White Army? Do you know who is White Army? The first time White Army captured Adababa, Atang, that was 1929 and beyond. Before those many years, they captured Adababa without any weapons. Without any, they used sticks to capture Adababa from the white man and from the Sudan government, not from our own South Sudanese. Who can fight White Army? We don't need to lie to ourselves. Nobody fight White Army, Jama. Zinubin, please. Don't finish your children and take them where White Army are. Nobody can fight White Army. White Army is 97 years plus in existence. They are 97 years plus in existence. They are older than SPLM that is leading South Sudan today. They are older than even the SPLA-IO. So if now they mix themselves with SPLA-IO, do you think you can win? Huh? So if you are a Dinka and you think this war is an enjoyable war, listen, it's your brothers that are finishing. To the Nuer people, if you think you can win this war, nobody wins any war. It's your women that are remaining widows every day. How many widows do we have in South Sudan? How many orphans do we have in South Sudan? How many? How many of them do we have? The South Sudan have remained empty. South Sudan is empty today. Every corner you go, you find widows, you find orphans. That is what we have in South Sudan. Our country is full of people with empty hands and empty legs. They don't have legs, they don't have hands. Some have lost those ones fighting even very useless wars that can be controlled. Why are you not seeing the government is finishing people? The SSPDF that have finished today in Akobo is too much. Huh? You cannot compare White Army with anybody. Anyanya is younger than White Army. In Nuer land, there is something that is said, Wei la Rome Shuang. That's what it's. So White Army are what? Any Nuer that is 35 years and below is a White Army, either a man or a woman. That is it. This is something that they are not being trained by anybody. They train themselves by themselves. So nobody, look at the Murle drama. You ask Murle, they will tell you who are this White Army. And they have different names. You go to Akobo, they are being called White Army. You go to the other side, they are being called Tersu. You go to the other side, they are being called Gojam. They have different names, but all of them, they are White Army, Jejimbor. So who is the government of South Sudan that think they can come and kill White Army? Nobody can kill White Army. And you see the destruction that is being caused by White Army because you want to be stubborn. Because the government of South Sudan is very stubborn. Every day is massacre. Listen, what did they do? In Wiyara, it was not SPLA-IO, it was White Army that ran over. And the government planned this place. But the white army, they ran over Yar'Adua. If they can run over Yar'Adua, which other place is safe? Nowhere is safe. Nobody can fight white army. So I'm here to remind you, the white army that you are trying to fight is beyond the Baba. Is beyond helicopters that you are bombing them. The more you bomb them, the more you try to go and do all those drama, the more you are putting South Sudanese lives at risk. Nobody win white army. If the white man did not win white army with all those grants they have, what do the government of South Sudan have? What do you, government of South Sudan, have? You are older than white. Yes, the government of South Sudan, SPLM, is older than SPLM-IO, but both of them together, white army is older than you. 97 years plus. That is the existence of white army. If you don't know, go and read in the books. Gwek Mundiang was a leader of white army. And he died in 1929. He was killed on 8th of February 1929. By who? By the Sudanese government that was being pushed by the British people. Those are the people that killed. 1929. Where is South Sudan? You are not even in existence. Some of you even maybe didn't even start thinking that we want to have something called South Sudan. Mundeng Bong, Prophet Mundeng, also during the time of his existence, white army was still there. White army was existing those many years that Prophet Mundeng was alive. So who are you to fight white army? You think that you are more powerful than white army? The best way is to find a way not to provoke the white army. Don't provoke white army. If you have any access to call in Akobo, please call Akobo. Let them take a picture for you and show you how South Sudanese are finished in Akobo. Let them tell you. So please don't finish South Sudanese. And to the women, listen, if your child is an SSPDF, bring your child back home. Bring your child back home. Tell them to go home. Let them leave the SSPDF. Let them go home. Let them go home. If you have SSPDF uniform, please leave it. Give the government the SSPDF uniform. Give the government those guns. Because your life will not be safe. When the time of having a good government comes, you will bring your ID, you will be given. Now we don't have a government. We are having a massacre regimes. We are having a team that is finishing South Sudanese. The government of South Sudan is a massacre regime, is a massacre community, is a massacre planner. They just want to finish Jinubin. If we finish ourselves, who will help anybody? So I'm here to remind you that white army is more than 97 years old. And South Sudan is just, how old is South Sudan? Is it 13 years? How old is SPLA-IO? 13 years? How old is SPLM? 43 years? How old is Anyanya? All these things you mentioned in South Sudan, white army is older than all these things that I'm mentioning. So when you want to carry the flag of SPLM, remember it is the white army flag that was flying before this SPLM. It is the white army flag that have been flying before this SPLA-IO. Remember all these things. When you talk about a Brushok, when we talk about a Matianganyor, when you talk about all these things, you need to remember that the flag that have been flying for several years is the flag of white army. You need to rethink again. You need to rethink again. Imagine you are sending Nuer generals to go and kill Nuer. But even with all these tactics you are trying to plan, where are we going? It's massacre again. It's massacre again and again and again and again. So please, we need to listen. This war is, if people were not ignorant, when the way I talked before, if people were having sense, this war is uncalled for. But because of ignorance, because I say what is killing South Sudanese is ignorance and tribalism. These are the two things that are killing us. ignorance and tribalism. You ignore and you think you have too much ego. But I'm here to tell you, not because I'm a Nuer, not because even I'm a white army, because I am 35 years and below. What does that make me? I am a white army. Every Nuer child that is 35 years and below is a white army in the Nuer land, because they say, "Wei la Rome Nuer Shuang." So when you think, wherever you are, if you are a Nuer and you're 35 years old, you are what? You are an IO. No, you are a white army. So if you don't know, you are a white army. And white army, nobody fight white army. Only God can help us to make them think. And the goodness is they think they have a heart. They always warn. They always tell you, please. And then they capture you, they leave you. They have captured General Johnson Uluny in 2014. They captured Uluny in 2014. They captured Uluny in 2014 and they left Uluny alive after shooting him. They shoot him, and when they were told to leave Johnson Uluny, they left Johnson Uluny. Johnson Uluny is alive today because of white army. Johnson Uluny today is alive because the white army decided to leave him. And that means they listen. Omar al-Bashir was captured by white army in Bentiu several years ago, and they left him. The mother of Tuok saved this guy called Omar al-Bashir. He was saved by a mother of white army, the mother of Tuok. So please, the government of South Sudan doesn't know what it's dealing with. But to the South Sudanese, please, I am here to remind you, nobody can fight white army. Just like you see